Most people believe financial freedom comes from working harder, earning more, and waiting for the future. But what if the future is quietly changing the rules right now? Inflation is rising, jobs are becoming uncertain, and the way money works is no longer the same as it was for our parents. In the next 10 to 20 years, some people will struggle more than ever, while others will build wealth using new systems, new skills, and smarter financial decisions. In this video, you'll discover how the global economy is shifting, where real wealth is moving, and what financial freedom will actually look like in the future. So make sure you watch till the end, because what you learn today could completely change how you think about money tomorrow. Some people will struggle more than ever. Others will quietly build wealth using new systems, new tools, and new thinking. In this video, we'll explore the future of financial freedom, how money systems are changing, where wealth is shifting, and what practical steps you can take to stay ahead, even if you're starting from zero. Financial freedom in the future will not arrive suddenly or magically. It will quietly reward those who understand how money is evolving and who prepare early instead of reacting late. We are moving into a world where money flows faster, decisions matter more, and small financial mistakes can become long-term problems if ignored. The traditional idea of trading time for money is slowly losing power because technology, automation, and artificial intelligence are changing how value is created. Many jobs that once provided stability are becoming temporary, contract-based, or automated, while new opportunities are opening for people who can think independently, learn continuously, and adapt quickly. In this environment, financial freedom will depend less on how much you earn and more on how you manage, protect, and grow what you earn. Inflation quietly reduces purchasing power every year, meaning money that sits idle loses value over time, and this reality forces individuals to become more intentional with their finances. Saving alone is no longer enough. Understanding how money works has become a basic life skill, just like reading or writing. As economies become more interconnected, opportunities are no longer limited by geography, allowing people to earn, invest, and do business across borders. But this also increases competition, making skills and knowledge even more valuable. The future will favor those who build assets rather than only chasing paychecks, because assets have the ability to generate income repeatedly without requiring constant effort. These assets may not always be physical, they can be digital, intellectual, or skill-based, such as online businesses, content creation, education platforms, or specialized expertise. At the same time, financial freedom will require a mindset shift, moving away from short-term thinking and instant gratification toward long-term planning and patience. Many people fall into financial stress not because they lack income, but because they lack direction, discipline, and financial awareness. Debt, when misunderstood, can trap individuals for years, while smart financial planning can create flexibility and peace of mind. The future economy will reward people who can delay unnecessary consumption, prioritize learning, and invest in themselves before investing in anything else. Another key change is the increasing role of digital systems in everyday financial life, from online payments to remote work and global marketplaces, making financial literacy more important than ever before. People who understand budgeting, risk management, and basic investing principles will be far better prepared to navigate uncertainty than those who rely purely on advice or trends. Financial freedom will also become more personalized. Instead of following one universal path, individuals will design lifestyles that match their goals, whether that means location independence, flexible schedules, or steady passive income. This personalization requires clarity about what financial freedom actually means to each person, because without clear goals, even high income can feel empty and stressful. As wealth continues to concentrate around ownership and innovation, those who participate in value creation, rather than only consumption, will gain a stronger financial position. This does not require extreme risk-taking, but it does require curiosity, responsibility, and the willingness to learn from mistakes. The future will also challenge people emotionally, as financial pressure can increase anxiety and fear, making it even more important to develop calm decision-making and long-term thinking. Economic cycles will continue to rise and fall, but individuals who focus on building skills, maintaining multiple income sources, and managing expenses wisely will remain more resilient. Financial freedom will no longer be defined by retirement at a certain age, but by having control over time, choices, and priorities throughout life. This control comes from preparation, not prediction, because no one can perfectly forecast the economy, but everyone can improve their financial habits. As technology continues to lower barriers to entry, learning opportunities will become more accessible, allowing motivated individuals to educate themselves regardless of background. However, access alone is not enough. Consistent action is what separates progress from stagnation. The future belongs to people who take responsibility for their financial outcomes instead of blaming systems, governments, or circumstances. While external factors do matter, personal decisions compound over time, either creating stability or stress. Financial freedom will increasingly be about balance, combining income growth with mental well-being, ethical choices, and sustainable living. Those who chase money without understanding purpose often feel trapped, while those who align finances with values experience greater satisfaction. The next generation of financially free individuals will not necessarily be the loudest or most visible, but the most informed, disciplined, and adaptable. They will understand that money is a tool, not a goal, and that true freedom comes from using that tool wisely. In this changing world, the greatest investment will always be knowledge, because knowledge improves decision-making, reduces fear, and opens doors that money alone cannot unlock, and those who commit to learning how the future of finance works will quietly position themselves ahead while others struggle to keep up. As financial systems continue to evolve, individuals will increasingly realize that relying on external guarantees is less reliable than building internal capability, because the future rewards those who can think independently and make informed decisions even in uncertain conditions. Governments, institutions, and corporations will continue to influence economies, but personal financial outcomes will be shaped more by daily habits than by policy announcements. One of the most important changes taking place is the speed at which information and opportunity now move, meaning delays in learning or action can create long-term disadvantages. People who ignore financial education often do so not because it is difficult, but because its importance is underestimated until pressure appears. In the future, reacting late to financial challenges will be far more costly than preparing early, especially as living costs, healthcare expenses, and lifestyle expectations continue to rise. Another critical factor is the psychological relationship people have with money, because fear-based decisions often lead to poor outcomes, while calm and informed choices tend to compound positively over time. Financial freedom will require emotional control, especially during economic uncertainty, when markets fluctuate and headlines create panic. Those who understand that volatility is a normal part of economic systems will be better equipped to stay consistent instead of making impulsive moves. The future will also place greater emphasis on value creation rather than position or status, meaning income will increasingly flow toward people who solve problems, provide solutions, or deliver useful knowledge. This shift will gradually reduce the importance of traditional job titles and increase the importance of measurable impact. As more people participate in the global digital economy, competition will increase, but so will opportunity, creating a clear divide between those who continuously upgrade their skills and those who remain static. Financial freedom will increasingly be connected to learning how to learn, because no single skill will remain valuable forever. The ability to adapt, reskill, and reposition will become one of the most powerful financial advantages. Another major change will be the growing transparency of financial systems, where access to information makes it harder to hide inefficiency and easier to identify opportunity, but only for those who know how to interpret that information correctly. This means critical thinking will become as important as income itself, because misinformation can lead to poor financial choices just as easily as lack of information. The future will reward patience, because meaningful wealth rarely grows quickly without significant risk, and those who understand compounding will benefit from time rather than trying to defeat it. Small, consistent improvements in saving, investing, and skill development will matter more than dramatic one-time decisions. Financial freedom will also depend on lifestyle design, as people begin to question whether constant consumption truly leads to happiness or simply increases financial pressure. Many will discover that controlling expenses and aligning spending with long-term goals provides more freedom than endlessly increasing income. This shift in mindset will allow individuals to escape the cycle of earning more but feeling poor, which has become increasingly common in modern economies. As financial tools become more accessible, discipline will become the true differentiator, because access without control often leads to loss rather than gain. The future will not eliminate financial risk, but it will offer more ways to manage and distribute it intelligently. Insurance diversification and emergency planning will play a larger role in maintaining stability, especially in a world where sudden disruptions can affect entire industries. Financial freedom will also involve understanding time as a financial asset, because how time is allocated directly impacts earning potential, learning capacity, and quality of life. People who waste time often feel financial stress, while those who manage time intentionally often find clarity and direction. As technology continues to blur the line between personal and professional life, setting boundaries will become essential to avoid burnout and maintain long-term productivity. Financial freedom will not be achieved by working endlessly, but by working intentionally toward systems that reduce dependency on constant effort. Another important aspect is community and networks, because future opportunities will often emerge through collaboration rather than isolation. Relationships built on trust, shared value, and mutual growth will become increasingly valuable in both professional and financial contexts. The future economy will reward cooperation alongside competition, and those who contribute meaningfully to networks will gain access to opportunities that are invisible to others. Financial freedom will also require ethical awareness, as short-term gains achieved through irresponsible behavior often lead to long-term consequences. Sustainable wealth will be built by those who understand that reputation, trust, and integrity are assets that compound over time. As global awareness increases, consumers and partners will increasingly favor transparency and responsibility, making ethical decision-making not just a moral choice but a financial one. The future will challenge individuals to balance ambition with patience, growth with stability, and innovation with caution. Financial freedom will not mean avoiding all risk, but understanding which risks are worth taking and which are not. This understanding comes from experience, education, and reflection, not from trends or promises of quick success. As more people seek financial independence, noise and distraction will increase, making focus a rare and valuable skill. Those who can ignore unnecessary information and concentrate on long-term objectives will progress steadily while others move in circles. Financial freedom will increasingly be a quiet achievement rather than a visible display, built through consistency rather than excitement. The people who achieve it may not always appear successful by traditional standards, but they will experience control over their time, reduced stress, and the ability to make decisions without financial pressure. This control will allow them to respond to change rather than fear it, to see uncertainty as a challenge rather than a threat, and to approach the future with confidence rather than anxiety. As economic systems continue to transform, the gap between financial awareness and financial ignorance will widen, making education one of the most powerful equalizers available. Those who invest in understanding money, behavior, and systems will gain leverage that cannot be taken away, while those who ignore these areas may find themselves increasingly dependent on circumstances beyond their control. Financial freedom in the future will be less about escaping work entirely and more about choosing work that aligns with personal values and long-term goals, allowing income to support life rather than dominate it, and this shift will redefine success for an entire generation. As this transformation continues, people will increasingly recognize that financial freedom is not a destination reached once and forgotten, but a continuous process that evolves alongside life circumstances, economic conditions, and personal priorities. What works at one stage of life may need adjustment later, and flexibility will become a core financial strength. Younger generations are already experiencing this reality, as they enter a world where career paths are less linear and income sources are more fluid than ever before. Instead of staying in one profession for decades, many will move between roles, industries, and projects, requiring a financial structure that can absorb change without creating stress. This is why adaptability will matter more than predictability, and why rigid financial planning will give way to dynamic, review-based decision-making. People will need to regularly reassess their income, expenses, skills, and goals to remain aligned with a fast, changing environment. Another important element shaping the future of financial freedom is access to information, which has dramatically increased but has also become overwhelming. The challenge will no longer be finding information, but filtering it wisely, because poor advice can be just as damaging as no advice at all. Those who develop the ability to evaluate sources, question assumptions, and think critically will protect themselves from costly mistakes. Financial scams, unrealistic promises, and misleading trends will continue to exist, especially during times of economic uncertainty, making skepticism and patience essential traits. Financial freedom will favor those who understand that sustainable growth is usually quiet and gradual, not dramatic or fast. The idea of overnight success has always been rare, but in the future it will become even less reliable as systems become more transparent and competitive. People who chase shortcuts often sacrifice stability, while those who build step by step gain confidence and control. Another shift will occur in how people view ownership, as traditional ownership models evolve alongside shared economies and digital access. While ownership of certain assets will remain powerful, access-based models will also play a role in reducing unnecessary expenses and improving efficiency. Financially free individuals will be those who know when ownership adds value and when flexibility is the smarter choice. This balanced approach will help reduce financial burden while maintaining quality of life. The future will also highlight the importance of resilience, because economic disruptions, whether global or personal, are becoming more frequent. Unexpected events can quickly derail unprepared individuals, while those with emergency planning and diversified income can recover more easily. Resilience will not come from fear, but from preparation, awareness, and realistic expectations. Financial freedom will not eliminate challenges, but it will provide the tools to face them without panic. Another growing factor is the integration of technology into financial decision-making, where automation can assist with budgeting, tracking, and analysis, but should not replace understanding. Tools can support better decisions, but only when users know what those tools are doing and why. Blind reliance on systems without comprehension can create vulnerability, while informed use creates efficiency. As technology continues to evolve, financial literacy will expand beyond basic concepts to include understanding digital platforms, data security, and privacy. Protecting financial information will become as important as growing financial resources, because digital exposure increases both opportunity and risk. Financial freedom will also intersect more deeply with personal identity, as individuals seek alignment between their financial choices and their values. Spending, investing, and earning will increasingly be seen as expressions of priorities rather than just transactions. This alignment can create greater satisfaction, because money will serve a clear purpose instead of becoming a source of constant tension. People who understand why they want financial freedom will find it easier to make consistent decisions than those who pursue it without clarity. The future will also challenge traditional ideas of success, as more people question whether constant growth, consumption, and comparison truly lead to fulfillment. Financial freedom will increasingly be associated with simplicity, intentional living, and conscious choice rather than excess. This does not mean lowering ambition, but redefining it in a way that supports long-term well-being. As awareness grows, people may begin to measure success by stability, flexibility, and peace of mind rather than visible status. This shift could reduce financial pressure and encourage healthier relationships with money. Another important development will be intergenerational financial awareness, as younger individuals gain access to knowledge earlier and question outdated financial habits. This transfer of awareness can help families make better collective decisions, reduce cycles of debt, and build long-term stability. Financial freedom will increasingly be a shared effort rather than an isolated pursuit, especially as families and communities recognize the value of collaboration and support. However, This will require open conversations about money, which have traditionally been avoided or stigmatized. Transparency and education within families can prevent misunderstandings and strengthen financial foundations. The future will also emphasize the importance of long-term thinking in a world that constantly promotes short-term rewards. Those who can resist impulsive decisions and focus on sustainable progress will gain a significant advantage. This ability will become increasingly rare, making it even more valuable. Financial freedom will reward individuals who understand delayed gratification, compounding, and consistency even when results are not immediately visible. Over time, these small, disciplined actions will create momentum that feels effortless compared to constant struggle. As global economies continue to integrate currency fluctuations, geopolitical shifts, and market changes will influence personal finances more directly than before. This interconnectedness will make awareness of global trends more relevant, even for individuals who operate locally. Understanding basic economic signals can help people make better decisions and avoid unnecessary fear during uncertain periods. Financial freedom will not require becoming an expert in global finance, but it will require staying informed enough to respond intelligently. Another emerging aspect is the emotional cost of financial instability, which affects mental health, relationships, and overall quality of life. As awareness of this connection grows, people may prioritize financial stability as a form of self-care rather than just ambition. Reducing financial stress can improve focus, creativity, and decision-making, creating a positive feedback loop that supports long-term progress. Financial freedom will therefore be seen not just as an economic goal, but as a foundation for a balanced and intentional life. As systems evolve and expectations shift, individuals who approach money with curiosity rather than fear will find it easier to adapt. Curiosity leads to learning, learning leads to confidence, and confidence leads to better choices. Over time, this mindset will separate those who feel controlled by money from those who feel in control of it. Financial freedom in the future will belong to people who remain open to change, grounded in principles, and committed to continuous improvement, understanding that progress is rarely perfect, but always possible when approached with patience, awareness, and responsibility. The future of financial freedom is not something that will be handed to us by governments, jobs, or luck. It is something we build through awareness, discipline, and intelligent decisions made over time. As money systems change, those who understand how finance truly works will move forward with confidence, while those who ignore it will feel increasing pressure. Financial freedom will belong to people who invest in knowledge, adapt to change, manage risk wisely, and use money as a tool rather than a source of fear. It is not about becoming wealthy overnight, but about gaining control over time, choices, and peace of mind. The world will continue to evolve, but one truth will remain constant: those who take responsibility for their financial future today will be the ones who live with freedom tomorrow.